What is up, my friends? How are we? The weekend has started. It is Friday night to Late Night Agenda, and you're very welcome along. Thank you for giving up some of your evening to come and have a chat with me. A reminder, the Reds kick off tomorrow at 3 p.m. against Southampton, so fingers crossed for another step towards that Premier League title. 9 games to go after tomorrow's game, which means Arsenal are running out of games for us to start dropping points in, but hey-ho. Yes, no song muck grab, because I thought I'd jump on fairly quickly. 1 second, I just need to cough. Bear with me, I don't want to cough down the microphone. 1 second. Excuse me, I didn't want to cough down the microphone, so I guess I should really clear up old John Malone's message. He's not very clever, is he? John, and anybody else who's stupid enough to think that I think that everything I report on is going to happen, let me just summarise it for you nice and quickly. I report what journalists write. I'm not a journalist. I must have said this 500 times on the channel, but there's always some dumbass who doesn't have the, well, comprehension skills to understand what's going on. I report the stories that journalists write. I'm a fan, not a journalist. So it's not up to me to link us with players. I just bring them on and discuss them. But there's always some idiot like John in the chat who doesn't quite understand it and thinks that I'm so dumb that I believe every rumour and I think every player is coming. I'm 43 years of age, mate. Been doing this 7, nearly 8 years. I'm pretty confident that I know what's happening and what's going on. And again, if you've any problems with the stories, feel free to have a pop at the journalists who wrote them, because I will be telling you who writes each story. So again, save your time next time. You can go and cry arse elsewhere. Everybody else, I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. How are we feeling about tomorrow, by the way? Because I'm not really sure what to expect. It feels a little bit strange, this, almost as if it's a game that's getting in the way, if that makes any sense. Because we can't take our eye off the ball. We have to make sure we get the job done tomorrow. But then, of course, all eyes are going to come to Tuesday, which is a huge night for us. And I'm certainly not looking past Tuesday in the Champions League anyway, because, well, we've seen the first leg. PSG were very good. So we're going to have our eyes on the ball. Zevon, how are you, my man? Actually, there's somebody I need to say thank you to. There you go. Joseph Reinhardt. Thank you, Joseph, for becoming a member, mate. Appreciate you. I probably should have mentioned that at the very start of the stream, but really do appreciate your support, mate. Thank you. Stiller is an up-and-coming player. Would be a good one to get in. Yeah, there's been some steady links to Stiller. I know he signed a new contract, but there's a release clause in his deal. But you're right, there's been some steady links to us, and I'm not really sure what to expect in that regard. With regards to KINGSLEY COMAN, I bring it up because it's a story coming out of Germany from Christian Falk, but do I think for 1 second that Liverpool are going to sign KINGSLEY COMAN? I guess the best way I can answer that is, I hope not, because I don't want him at Liverpool. He's not good enough at Liverpool. He's too injury prone. So, you know, I think these are just clickbait nonsense stories that these journalists are putting out, but we've got to talk about them, right? Because maybe somebody does think there's a chance that KINGSLEY COMAN comes to Liverpool. I don't think that's the case, and I don't think anybody in the chat will think it's the case either, but we'll talk about it tonight. We're also going to be giving you the numbers behind how much money Liverpool are actually making from the Nike kit deal. Story went out today, so we're going to discuss that and the eye-watering amounts of money, to be fair. CF787 said all this 4-5-6 win tomorrow's fantasy land. Well, not necessarily. You know, 3 is what I went for. And if you look at their recent results, they've been getting steadily beaten 3s and 4s. So I don't think it is fantasy land. You know, it depends how strong we go. It depends on a few factors. But, you know, a comfortable victory should be what we're looking for tomorrow. And also with KINGSLEY COMAN, I would imagine that you're talking about a very hefty wage to come along with them. And as we know, Liverpool are very fond of dishing out huge wages. Would you play Salah for 45 and then sub on Chiesa? For me, and look, I'm not expecting to see this, Mahmood, but what I would do is just rest Mo entirely and play Chiesa from the start and leave Mo on the bench if we need somebody to make a difference, and I hope we don't. I think, you know, we've got to lean into the squad. We want to be fresh for Tuesday. So if I was in charge, I'd be playing a front 3 of Chiesa, Darwin and Diaz. And then I'd be bringing on Salah with maybe 20 to go to give him a little run out to stretch his legs, but ultimately I'd be saving him, and certainly I'd be saving Ryan Gravenberch. You know, I'd be starting with Toro Endo. Mark said, "Hey Rio, thanks for watching. Heard you're a big fan." Oh yeah. Do you know what's interesting though, Mark? Look, I've no problem with Rio Ferdinand replying to one of the clips or whatever, and he's entitled to his opinion of me the same as I am of him. But I wish he had have responded to me when I offered him the £5 bet a couple of seasons ago. That would have been more interesting, when he was saying that United were going to finish above Liverpool and I offered him £5 bet. You know, maybe he didn't see it, but I certainly didn't get a response to that one. Mahmood said, "What do you think about the PSG players mentally talking about revenge and all that talk? I'm not comfortable with it. I think it's weak and pathetic. Yes, we robbed them, but they should be better than this." Look, each to their own. Whatever gets you going. So, look, they have to talk big. They have to convince themselves that they can come to Anfield and get it done. Same with Luis Enrique when he was asked about it. The fact that Liverpool have never lost a knockout tie after being ahead from the away leg or the first leg. It is what it is. You know, I wouldn't expect anything else from Luis Enrique to say, "Oh yeah, well, I think we're going to go in there and win." There's one thing saying it, but they've got to do it. And, you know, they will no doubt take some confidence from the first leg, at least with the ability they had to get at us. But I think we're going to be a very different animal at home. Let's just wait and see what happens. Paul Smith, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. You know, what we know is a 0-0 and we're through. Don't concede and we're through. And I'll take that. But, of course, I wouldn't mind us going out there and getting an early goal as well. So, look, today I'm going to take you through lots of different bits and pieces. Some of it from Arne Slot's press conference ahead of the Southampton game. Some of it links that Liverpool wanted to buy Pedro Neto previously. And that's one thing I want to bring up here at the start, actually. So let's start with the Pedro Neto thing. This came from Matt Law of The Telegraph, I think. Said, "Pedro Neto was high on Liverpool's list of potential targets and could have signed for them if Salah had gone to Saudi." There's been a lot of stuff recently about wingers. So remember the other day we were seeing that Kvaratskhelia, DiMarzio said Liverpool offered €100 million for Kvicha Kvaratskhelia and we're going to leave him on loan at Napoli for the season. You add that, you add in the interest in Neto, and I'm starting to wonder, are we going to see the club really try to keep Salah? I put that out in last night's late video because lots of these stories linking us with wingers got me worried, but maybe I'm putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5, so let's wait and see. A little bit from Jurgen Klopp as well, by the way. Jurgen Klopp on if he joined the bus if Liverpool won the Premier League. This is what our former manager had to say. Yep, the plan is to come to Liverpool, but not the bus. I'll be there with the people. I saw when we were on the bus. That's the idea, to be honest, but we'll see. I don't want to go earlier because I didn't want to jinx it, so I will go there when it's decided. So there you go. You may see Jurgen out and about for the trophy parade. I mean, a man of the people, wanting to be out there with the people. Love it, Jurgen. Well played. JD said, "Can we stop with the we robbed them?" Look, I don't mind saying we robbed them if it winds them up a little bit, mate. Ultimately, they didn't score. It is what it is. You know, it's their problem, not ours. They had plenty of opportunities. They didn't find the back of the net. Look, you know, we've been there before. We went over and lost 3-0 against Barcelona at the Nou Camp in a game that I'll still never know how we lost 3-0 because it was not a 3-0 game. That's football. Adrian, how are you, my friend? Said 3 finals this week, Lord Slot. Yeah, that's what he said. 3 finals, and he's right. You know, they're all big games for different reasons. A win tomorrow would put us 16 points ahead of Arsenal, who, of course, would have 2 games in hand. One of them will be against United on Sunday, but it's still a big gap. And we'd only have 9 games to go then. So after tomorrow, we could, let's say even if they won their game in hand, with 9 games to go, we'd have 10 points clear. We'll have to lose 4 of the last 9. That ain't happening. So it's just one step closer. But we got to take the opportunity tomorrow to get the 3 points. I'm concerned about Tuesday, of course. I'm not even looking past Tuesday in the Champions League. And then, as we know, Newcastle at Wembley next Sunday. How do I feel about... I don't know who Lamine Camara is. Never heard of him. Don't know who he is. Sorry. I mean, I'll openly tell you, I don't know a lot about young up-and-coming players that aren't in the Premier League or that we aren't... we don't have at the club. So, you know, any help from that one would be much appreciated. But I've no idea who he is, to be honest with you. Does Salah start tomorrow? I mean, I would imagine he will, but I wouldn't start him. You know, my team for tomorrow, and I'm not sure if you've had a chance to watch the preview, but my team for tomorrow would be Alisson, Trent, Kwanzaa, Van Dijk, Costas, Endo, Jones, Elliott, Chiesa, Darwin, and Diaz. That would be my team for tomorrow, but I mean, I don't see that being Arne Slot's team. He plays for Barca. I've no idea who he is, in all honesty. Sorry. But look, Barca have a lot of young talent. We know that. But yeah, sorry, I've no idea who he is. Ferdinand wants some Craig love. Yeah, look, as I've said, I don't care if people respond to a post that Connor puts up, a clip from a stream or whatever. Rio Ferdinand, much like I'm entitled to have an opinion about him, he's entitled to have an opinion about me or anything else. I thought it was mad that he replied on 2 platforms, which I thought was kind of funny. But look, you know, it's the opinions game. I just stand over what I said. I don't like the biased commentary or punditry for, you know, Carragher on us, Neville against us, Rio Ferdinand. I don't like it. I don't think it makes for pleasant viewing. Nothing against him on a personal level. I don't know the fella, but yeah, it is what it is, you know. Sonny Hughes, how are you, my man? I love Jurgen, but I hope he isn't there at the bus parade because it's not his title and he'd probably steal the show. He will be there, but he won't be on the bus. And you know what? I think it would be cool to see, you know. I think it would be cool to see him there. I'll be interested to see where he is because he said he'd be out there with the people. I can't really see him standing out there in the street now, to be honest. He'd never get home. He'd be stopped for photographs for the next 2 years probably. But look, it still feels good that he has that connection, you know, and he wants to be in the city. Because, you know, he welcomed Arne Slot into the club, and I'm sure he wants to congratulate Arne and the lads on a job well done. What happened with Rio? Oh, not really happened as such. Connor put up a clip. Let me just try and read this out. Connor put up a clip. I'm not sure which clip it was, to be fair. I think it was one of the ones about me talking about not liking biased punditry or stuff like that. And he responded saying, "Morning, Craig. I wasn't on the gantry when Liverpool scored. Like in the first half, where I left commentary position to go back down pitch side after 36 minutes. I was asked to do the same in the second half prior to the goal. Thanks." That was it, you know. It is what it is. You know, I've no problem with people having a pop back or a reply. None whatsoever. You know, if I give it out, I'm happy to take it. And to be fair on that post, he was very respectful. I think he was a bit less respectful maybe in another post on another platform, but it is what it is. It's all good. No offence taken or no bother, you know. I still stand over what I say, and I think most people would agree with me. I don't like the biased punditry that's on display, whether it's for Liverpool, against Liverpool. I just would rather have neutrals on commentary. That's all it was. No biggie. More of the pundits are against us, said Naturalist. It's so annoying hearing them go on about the red card that was not given. Like I said the other day, I don't remember so many people being that upset when Canada was pushed against Everton. I felt like I was one of the only people screaming about that one at the time. But look, it's not going to change that, is it? We won the game 1-0, and you know, I didn't even hear Rio Ferdinand's punditry on it because I watched the games on neutral, but I was just saying that lots of people were saying to me that it was awful. You know, it is what it is. Joshua said, Peter Drury is the only true commentator of our time that's neutral. I like Peter Drury. He's brilliant at what he does. Sometimes, if I'm being really picky, I think maybe he can be a little bit too expressive. Maybe he just tries to make it more poetic, but he's certainly brilliant at what he does. So, yeah, no, certainly would have no problems with Peter Drury covering Liverpool games or any other games. Right, let's get through the news though. We don't want to be talking about me and Rio all day. So, anybody know who this guy from Real Betis is? Jesus Rodriguez. I'm sure you do, because you guys are much more up on young talent than I am. But Simon Jones of the Mail has said that Liverpool are monitoring the progress of Real Betis winger Jesus Rodriguez. Now, when I was reading that sentence out, I was praying that the words after winger wasn't Anthony. Because, no thank you. But, yeah, anybody know anything about this gentleman? Jesus Rodriguez of Real Betis, who Simon Jones said we're monitoring. I think he's 19 years of age. That's pretty much all I know. Mukarab said, I mean, he's pretty respectful in the reply. Yeah, look, I've not, man, it's all good. You know, as I said, Rio's absolutely, if I say something about anybody, they're absolutely entitled to have a pop back or reply in a polite way or any which way. It's fine, man. It's the game. Alex said, if I could pay Peter Drury to announce every sport I'm watching, I'd gladly do it. Yeah, he's definitely right up there as the best of the bunch. John Champion was another one I didn't mind over the years, and there's a few more that have been quite good. Craig loved the Liverpool versus Barcelona game commentary because bias was thrown out of the window and it was an English club versus a Spanish club. Loads of people talking about Beckham in the chat as well. I barely even noticed Beckham was there, to be fair. I wasn't paying too much attention because, you know, you just see Beckham coming up and you just think, oh, he's still a handsome bastard after all this time. Right, anyway, Keane's off. See you, Kieran. Right, so this is an interesting one. Let me know your thoughts on this. Liverpool are the highest ranked Premier League club for fan-generated merchandise sales for 2024 with €141, tied with Manchester United, a figure that is double Manchester City's of 70 million. So Liverpool, the highest ranked Premier League club for fan-generated merchandise sales for 2024, tying with Manchester United with €141 million. And Manchester City down, well, 70 is still a lot for a club of fuck all fans. Mahmood said, do you think we've reached the point where it makes sense to rotate players a bit and have focus on the future Champions League games? Yes. Looking through our next fixtures in the Premier League, you've got Southampton, Everton, Fulham, you know, all winnable games. So I think I would rotate heavily tomorrow. I'm have the big hitters on the bench by all means, but I'd rotate heavily for the starting 11 tomorrow and get the win. So yeah, I would say yes, rotate, because after tomorrow, as I said at the very start, we've 9 games to go, and even if Arsenal won the games in hand, there'd be a 10-point gap with 27 to play for. You know, so there's no danger in my eyes of us wobbling enough. Hopefully, Huijsen, Kirkes and Isak arrives by Chetich back also. There's been lots and lots of links to Huijsen from not just Liverpool. A host of European clubs are monitoring him. You've probably seen the posts on socials. Right, here's a really interesting number. We haven't really ever seen how much money Liverpool have generated from the Nike deal. But LFC Transfer Room, credit to them, posted this earlier on. They said, just in, UEFA has published the European Club Finance and Investment Landscape Study. Are you ready for this? Because this is nuts. It shows that Liverpool generated £122.8 million from their Nike deal in the 2023-24 season. Again, to reiterate, £122.8 million from the Nike deal in the 2023-2024 season. I have a question. Where's the money, John? because that's a load of dough. That is a load of dough. If you're looking around money generated from sales, 122.8 million from the Nike deal is absolutely gargantuan. So let us know your thoughts on that one. You know, we've always kind of asked about these figures, or, you know, asked what they were, but that is a lot of money. Certainly a long way up from the money we would have been making with New Balance, or I don't really know the ins and outs of the Adidas deal properly yet. Is that the 122.8 million from Nike official? Well, UEFA published it, so I would imagine it's pretty official, yeah. Certainly better than you or me having a crack at it, like. But yeah, it says UEFA published the European Club Finance and Investment Landscape Study, and it shows that Liverpool generated £122.8 million from their Nike deal for the 23-24 season. That's a lot of dough. Hopefully that's put to use in the summer. I've been waiting to see those numbers for a long time, to be fair, so very interesting to see it finally come out. Arne Slot's been speaking about injuries, and this really, really interested me, because we've been talking about last season with Jurgen versus this season with Arne, and lots of people have been saying, do you think we would have done as well this season if Klopp was still at the club, or yada yada. But I tried to answer this, but I can't answer it as well as Arne Slot did, so let me read it out to you. Speaking about injuries, he said, if you think injuries are only good luck or bad luck, then we've been lucky. But we've tried to prevent them from a certain way of working, so that we don't have many injuries. I don't see that as luck. And this is something that we've spoken about quite a bit throughout the season, and I mentioned Ruben Peters' name when he came into the club with Arne. It's hard to quantify injuries that don't happen, but I don't believe it's an accident that we've avoided a lot of serious injuries this season as compared to maybe this time in other seasons. I think it's been some of the preventative measures that have been taken by Ruben Peters, Arne Slot and the team, and I think we should credit them for that, because you can see what a big difference is made having the spine of the team available for the whole season, you know. Van Dijk, Salah, Alisson. I know Alisson's had an injury, but Kelleher there back in as well. And we haven't really seen as many injuries for the likes of Canada maybe this season as in other seasons gone by. So you have to say, there's definitely something to it. Philip said, I thought Slot's answer to that question in the press conference was class. The question was clearly trying to bait him. Yeah, because we've seen Arsenal and everybody else cry arse about injuries that they have or haven't gotten or whatever, and we've been told that we're lucky. I don't think it is luck. Some of it is, of course, but I'm on Arne Slot's side of this. I think we've prevented those injuries very well by the great work from the nutritionist, medical team and the sports science team. G said, not to mention we've been doing it with half a dozen less players as well. Do we want the Arsenal to batter United? No. I have to say, I want Arsenal to draw points where possible. You know, the quicker we can get that league title sorted out. But I'm very intrigued to see if United go weak on Sunday, because I could understand it if they did. You know, they've got to look at the Real Sociedad game and think that's their season on the line. Because, you know, they're not getting anywhere into Europe in the Premier League. They're 14th or 15th or wherever they are now. They're not going to get relegated to too far above the relegation zone. So if I was Ruben Amorim, I'd be certainly prioritising the game on Thursday at Old Trafford against Sociedad. So let's wait and see what happens on Sunday. But it'll be an interesting one. I did my predictions video, went up earlier on today. So if you get a chance, it's the first one we've done, and we're going to do it every match week now, where I do all the Premier League games and try to predict them. And I went for a 2-1 win to Arsenal at Old Trafford. Didn't Liverpool make a £57 million loss, though? Does that include the Nike money? Yes, the loss would have included everything, mate. That was all the ins and outs sorted out. But again, I got to keep reminding people that the word's loss in football isn't always a dirty word. So we're very, very healthy financially. You don't need to be concerned about that one. But yes, you are right. It was 57 million. I don't understand this. Craig, is it okay to remove the remove? Is it okay to remove the where's the money, John? Because we are again keeping an eye on monitoring. I don't understand what you're asking me to do, mate. I'm never stopping the where's the money, John, until John shows us where the money is. And by that I don't mean that he's hiding money. I mean pony it up, give it to the manager, buy, spend. Herman, thank you. Herman Bish, thank you, my friend. Said, hello, Craig. Love your channel and content. Always stay awake till 2:15 a.m. to watch. Wow, thank you. I genuinely really appreciate that, mate. That's very, very kind of you. Hope you're not missing sleep because of me, but thank you. So, Arne Slot, speaking about beating PSG as well, said, we were not a little lucky. We were very, very, very lucky. But, as Michael Jordan said, the harder you work, the more luck you have. Where's this one? WR10 said, still absolutely gutted we lost out on Marmouche. So am I, but the way I've tried to console myself, is to remind myself that there's no way we would have been paying Omar Marmouche £300,000 a week. So, you know, if that was what it was going to take to get Omar Marmouche to sign a deal, then we weren't going to be signing him where we at 300 grand a week. But he's a very good player, and I think he will do well at Manchester City, unfortunately. How Arne Slot will stop PSG at Anfield is going to be difficult. Yeah, of course. You know, they certainly showed in the first leg. What's the gentleman's name? Noor. They showed in the first leg that they're very, very good. But, you know, we're at home with our crowd behind us. And, you know, I don't want to take away from their performance by saying that we were poor. Because they were really, really good. And certainly it was an impressive display from them. But we weren't at our best. We weren't as combative, as up in their face as we should have been. So the onus is on them to find the way, and let's wait and see what happens. I certainly expect Anfield to respond and step up and do their part, but it's certainly a very intriguing tie, and I'd be a liar if I told you I'm not really nervous about Tuesday night. Thank you, my friend. Pacey Fire, appreciate you. Said, Craig, who do you want to meet most in the Champions League final? Barcelona or Bayern? Would have to play at the home arena. Oh, every day of the week, give me Barcelona over Bayern. You'd never ever want to play a home team in their stadium in a final. Never. So 100% give me Barcelona over Bayern. But, you know, I'm a long way from thinking about the final, to be honest with you, mate. I swear I'm not looking past Tuesday, because even do my planning for the channel for April, you know, you look through and, you know, when the game week for the Champions League I haven't started penciling in anything. I'm genuinely still nervy about Tuesday. But in that scenario, I'd rather play Barcelona for the obvious reason. You know, you don't want to play the host team in a final in their stadium, even though, you know, Barca will probably be a tougher game. But again, appreciate you, mate, and thank you for your support. So let's talk about Stiller for a second. Where's this one gone? Where's the Angelo Stiller story gone? Is it that one? No, not that one. It's this one first. Let's go with this one. So Christian Falk has said that Liverpool have an interest in Kingsley Coman. Now, I'm just going to ask a straight poll on this one. Do you believe that? Because I don't believe it for 1 second. And I feel like this is about the 5th time we've been linked with him. So, simple question. Do you believe we are really interested in Coman? Because I feel like this has been going back 2 or 3 years now, the links to us and Kingsley Coman, and there's not one fibre of my body that believes it's true. So do you know what gets me about John earlier on moaning about, you know, clickbait and all? Does he not see the title that says, surely not? You know, does that not give you a clue, John, as to where my mind is at with the links? Because I don't believe for 1 second that we've an interest in Kingsley Coman for a whole host of reasons. Tony, how are you, sir? Tony Mastrangelo. Excuse me if I've mispronounced that one, Tony. I'm worried about the future. Trent, VVD and Mo could all leave for free. Canade could leave for free. We only spend what we generate, so how are we supposed to replace them? I mean, you're raising some really good points, Tony, and I love some journalists to ask these type of questions, but I guess we got to start with the contracts, right? I don't know what's happening with the three lads' contracts. You know, like yourself, I'm concerned about them. Canade, I certainly hope we get that one sorted, because we'd be absolute fools to let him go into the last year of his contract without getting a deal done. But there has to be a plan. I don't know what the plan is, but there has to be a plan. And I don't know at what point people are really going to start panicking about maybe no news on the contracts. You know, I don't know when your own dates are or when your own thought processes of when it's worrying is. But if you finish the season, the lads go off on holidays and there's no contracts signed, well, that's, I mean, I don't even know what to say about it. I didn't think we'd be here. I didn't think we'd be here in March still talking about this without knowing even clarity on one of them, you know. Or let's just say, I would have thought we'd known by now whether Trent wanted to stay or go. I would have thought we'd known by now if they were going to give Virgil a new deal. It's all so vague. And then you see us linked with Isak, and you see us apparently of having made a €100 million offer for Kavisha Kvaratskhelia last year, with a view to loaning him to Napoli for a season and then bringing him in. Well, you'd have to ask, why are we loaning him for a season before bringing him in? Is it because the plan was always for Mo to go? So I have real questions about how seriously we're negotiating these contracts. I don't know if people feel the same as me on that one, and I'm not saying that we aren't negotiating them. I just struggle to see that if the desire is there on both sides to get a deal done and we haven't, why? You know? Denny, thank you, my friend, for joining Anfield Agenda FC again. Appreciate you. Is Alisson staying, do you reckon? I certainly think so. You know, a lot of the reporting over the last few days, I was going to say the feedback, but the reporting has been, yeah, that Alisson plans on seeing out his Liverpool contract and staying here until 2027. So the question would be, what would Mamardashvili do then? Because it would be incredibly unfair if Alisson's still here to demote him to number 2, especially after saving our skin again. But again, there has to be a plan. We may not know what the plan is, but there has to be a plan. Somebody must know. Laker said, won't worry till the end of the season when we know. I wish I could be that calm, mate. I wish I could, but you know, just knowing that at the end of June it's bye-bye, contracts are up, off you pop, don't even have to show up to train, they're done, you know, that concerns me. But you know, especially when you look across at Bayern Munich and they've just done Joshua Kimmich, Manuel Neuer, Jamal Musiala and Alphonso Davies in one season, all done. You know, that's a club that wanted people to stay because they found solutions and they got them all to stay. And I would dare say that some of those lads are on more money than the Virgil van Dijks of this world as well. Craig, did you see the background photo of Mo and Elliott with the tactical... I don't know what you're trying to say there. The tactical board, let's say. Looked like the low block was deliberate. Oh, well, Arne said that it was deliberate, but we weren't good enough in transition. And I agree with him on that one. So it seems like he did set us up for a low block and play on the counter. But he was also right in what he said about us wasting 3 or 4 counter-attacking opportunities. We got one right, obviously, with a long ball from Alisson, and then Darwin won the battle, laid it off, and Elliott scored. But I think if we all think back to that game, it's very easy for us to sit here and think of all the great saves that Alisson made, all the blocks that the fullbacks and centre-backs put in. But how many times do you remember screaming at the TV or at your friends saying, "Oh, what a wasted chance"? We had 3 or 4 decent counter-attacking opportunities that I can remember that we made a mess of a pass in and around the midfield area. Trevor said, "I don't understand why they're stingy with the contracts but are prepared to pay big money in summer transfers." I assume it's because they think that the big money on summer transfers are going to be players who they will get 6, 7, 8 years out of maybe at the club. So, you know, what we've learned about Michael Edwards over the years, and again, it's only, a lot of this is second-hand information because nobody really knows the man. But we've always heard that he isn't one that's over fond of keeping players that are at the end of their careers or the tail end of their careers. He's always one to look for new, up-and-coming, hungry, energetic players that, you know, can develop and be at the club for 5, 6, 7 years. And if you look back to the Virgil van Dijks and the Alisson Beckers and Mohamed Salahs and those signings, well, we did that with those guys. So I can understand it. But again, I'm just going to say, something in the back of my mind feels like they're not negotiating seriously over the contract extensions, at least for Mo and Virgil. Would I activate Kane's €60 million clause in the summer? No way. Even, I just don't want Harry Kane playing for Liverpool. Full stop. End of conversation. Even if he was 4 years younger, I don't know. There's something about Harry Kane I've never been able to take to as a person, but no, let him go back to Spurs. If somebody wants to pay 60 million for a 33-year-old, I'll take a pass on that one. Okay, what else we got? Rafa, how are you, my friend? Said, "I reckon Ali is sold after next season. Probably what we bought Mamardashvili for." Look, there's no doubt we bought Mamardashvili because we're expecting to lose a goalkeeper. I think we all just assume that goalkeeper is Kelleher, and it will probably be Kelleher. But, you know, if Mamardashvili's eyes are set and coming in as a number 1, which is what a couple of the reports have been in the last few days, there is no rational reason if Alisson's still at the club to demote him to a number 2. Like, I'm all for the idea of a season of, let's say, Alisson does the league and Mamardashvili does the Champions League and the Cups or something like that. But you're going to have to try your best to keep those 2 keepers happy. And we know what we get with Alisson Becker. We've no idea what to expect from Georgi Mamardashvili because we haven't seen him in the Premier League. We haven't seen what he's like playing out from the back for Liverpool. So, you know, there is certainly lots of positive attributes of Georgie, but, you know, we have to see him and we have to see how he takes to the system and the way that we play. Kelleher goes in the summer, then Ali the summer after, and Mama takes number 1 spot. That's a sensible play, mate. Yeah, Lakers. That's a sensible play, but you know, let's wait and see what that happens. If I was a betting man and I was sticking a few quid in it, I think you've probably hit the nail on the head. I think that's likely what will happen. But then we'll still have to bring in another backup keeper at that point. I heard he's not having a good season. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. But it's difficult to know if he's not having a good season because he's not having a good season or because Valencia are awful. So tough to know. It's the reverse of it has happened in the past as well. So we've seen goalkeepers like Simon Mignolet, who were at Sunderland, who looked really, really good and had great statistics on saves and stuff. But then you forget to take into account, well, they're conceding a lot more chances. So the odds of him having save percentages high or making more saves in a game are higher. And obviously we've seen when Mignolet came in, it didn't really work out in the long term. Would you sell Alisson for €45 million? No, not a chance. Not a chance. Like, even at 33, I reckon he has 4 to 5 years left. I'd be wanting a lot more money than that. Yeah, a lot more. How's your dog doing? He's much better today, Dermot. Really kind of you to ask, mate. Still not himself, but certainly far more lively than he was yesterday. It's a pain in the backside having to give him the drops in his ears, though. You know, dogs hate anyone going near their ears, but I'm just glad. You know, I was very worried last night. I didn't sleep very well. I kept coming down to check on him a few times throughout the night. But he was all rolled up in his blanket and fast asleep, so I probably shouldn't have worried. What happened? Oh, he was just stumbling around yesterday, mate, and real lethargic, and turns out he's an ear infection. So yeah, just concerning, because I can't imagine life without that little fella. Any update on Conor Bradley? Yes, there were some updates actually. 1 second, my man. Oh no, actually it was Gakpo and Gomez we got updates on. I think, I'm trying to think back on Bradley. Bear with me on Bradley. But Arne Slot did speak about Joe Gomez and Cody Gakpo. And he said, while not ruled out entirely of facing the Saints, the Reds head coach admitted the Netherlands international was still in pain. He said he didn't train yesterday, yet to see if he can train with us today. Again, close call, it's not a long-term injury. But yeah, he still had a bit of pain yesterday and was unable to train. Let's see where he is in a day or so. I think with Gomez, they were talking 3 months. So Joe's season's probably over, unfortunately. So, yeah, difficult one for Joe there. Ian said Bradley nowhere near. Thank you. I'm just looking through my notes trying to find that bit of info, mate, on Bradley. But I appreciate it. Could do with Gakpo tomorrow. I would say we could do with him on Tuesday anyway. You know, Tuesday would be... I'd rather we didn't take the chance with him tomorrow if it meant he was going to be available on Tuesday. Decent keepers don't want to be a career number 2. Exactly. Usually when you're looking at a number 2, you're either having a young up-and-coming keeper or a keeper at the latter part of his career. But we've been spoiled, haven't we? Because, you know, we've had Kelleher backing up Alisson for the last few years, and we all know how good he's been. Benjamin, how are you, bro? Said, morning. We're plating up our barbecue. Nice. We'll make you one when you're over. A bit of news on Trent. It's quiet. Spanish media, says my friend. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, Benjamin, with Trent. Like yourself, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. Still don't know what to expect. I wish you had more information or updates, but as you can see, it is all quiet. Dale, really sorry to hear about your dog, my man. Can't be easy. Thoughts are with you. Yeah, it's a tough thing, my man. We had to do it last year as well, and yeah, really difficult. Muckrab said, honestly, maybe we play Rio tomorrow, rest Diaz or Chiesa left and Elliot right because Slot likes playing him there. I don't think we're going to see as many changes as you or I would probably like tomorrow, but again, we'll know at 1:45 what the manager's thinking. Ian said, I would rather beat Southampton than PSG. We need to win the league. We should be doing both, to be fair, as in beating Southampton and looking ahead to PSG. I know some people are still a bit nervy about the league, but from me, all I can say to you is, for me, it was done 2-3 weeks ago. It's just a matter of when now and not if. After tomorrow's game, as I said earlier on, if we win, there's 9 games left. And if Arsenal won the games in hand, there'd be a 10-point gap with 9 games to go. We're not dropping that many points. And they're not dropping points. So it's done in my eyes. It's just a matter of when it's mathematically done. Tony said, I'd play the first team, get the game won, sub early second half. I'd probably, for once, go a little bit different, Tony. I'd probably play a fringe team for the first 60, see how we're getting on, And then if you need to bring off Mohamed Salah or whoever else we decide to rest up, a Szoboszlai, a McAllister or whatever, yeah, that's what I'd do anyway. Myself, I'd go with the fringe players, hoping we don't need to take the big lads off the bench. But if we do, we do. Craig, hot take, but if Mignolet was played instead of Karius, we would have beaten Madrid. That final is always going to be one that has a bit of an exclamation mark on it for me. Or sorry, a bit of an asterisk for me, because we don't know how it really impacted Loris Karius. You know, we don't know if there was... I know that there was signs of a concussion, but I'm not inside his body, you're not inside his body. We don't know how that impacted him that day. Just that final is always going to be one that frustrates us for the Salah stuff as well. CF787 said, admire your optimism, one game at a time for me. I mean, it's not optimism. I'm looking at it and then looking at the statistics around it as well. Like, if we win tomorrow, all we need to do is take, 18 points? Even if Arsenal go perfect from 27 left and we win the league, if Arsenal were to win every other game. You know, we've lost one game in 28. The idea of us, if we win tomorrow, losing 4 and 9, it's just not going to happen, considering as well a lot of those games will be at home. And we've got Everton next in the league then, midweek at home. I say the lads are going to be bang up for wanting to get a result back on them after the late equaliser. Then we go to Fulham away. I just think, I think it's all gravy. And we've got Leicester as well, so we're winning it. You know, don't be afraid to say it. We're winning it. Hopefully by April 22nd when we face Spurs, I feel like we win the league. I hope so. Do you know that goalkeeper, the Millwall goalkeeper, Liam Roberts, who had the challenge on Mateta? I'm sure you've probably seen this, but just in case you haven't, he's been handed a 6-match ban for the challenge on Jean-Philippe Mateta. You know, the one that Michael Oliver thought was a yellow. You know, England's best referee. Well, he's been upgraded now to a 6-game ban, which he's accepted. And, you know, that I guess brings to an end that one. Here's a bit of a mad story from Bolivia. Not a sentence I thought I'd ever be saying. But this from Football Talk says, wild scandal in Bolivian football. The Bolivian Federation has handed Gabriel Montano a 2-year ban for identity fraud. He posed as his deceased brother to secure a professional contract. His actual name is Diego, and he's 25, not 20, as he claimed. That's nuts. You hear about these kind of things in football and you just think, is it true? But it is mad. I'm not believing it until it happens. What, within the league? Cool. If you want to be unhappy for the next few weeks and on edge, up to you. Look, to anyone that says, I don't think, I'm not believing it, I bet you wouldn't put a tenner on us not winning it. That's my reply to you, you know, because you know deep down we're winning it. And you know if it was Arsenal in this position or any other team, we'd all be saying it's all done and dusted. So, again, I'm just more optimistic maybe than some others. I think it's done. Who are the officials for tomorrow? Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head, mate. 1 second. Let me see if I have them in some past notes. 1 second. Mark's usually sent them on to me, so let me scroll back through. Don't seem to have it in my notes, sorry. Yeah, I'm sure somebody in the chat will know, but yeah, sorry, I don't seem to have it in my notes at the minute. I've got the Carabao Cup final ones, but Nothing on the weekends ones. Yeah, sorry. Or I think it's a referee I've never heard of. I have a recollection of reading the list of officials for a game recently and thinking, huh? Who are these? They are next to the final ref. Alright, cool. Thanks, Mark. Let me fly back through that then again. Okay. Yeah, no, Oh, yeah. Cool, thank you. You're right, Mark. So, Lewis Smith is the referee. Assistant referee, Matt Wilkes and Mark Perry. Fourth official, Tony Harrington. VAR, Matt Donoghue. Assistant VAR, Derek Eaton. Thank you, Mark. Yeah, I didn't look down past the initial Carabao Cup final one, but yeah. Southampton game referee, Lewis Smith. Assistants, Matt Wilkes and Mark Perry. Fourth official, Tony Harrington. VAR, Matt Donoghue. Assistant VAR, Derek Eaton. Thank you, Mark. Don't think I've seen a single pundit consider us to win the Champions League. Do you fancy our chances? Well, Opta have us as the favourites. Not that that really means anything, but Opta have us at something like, I think it was the mid 20% to win the Champions League. But I don't think you can really predict who wins the Champions League with any confidence, because knockout football's mad. And if you pick up, like, let's say, for instance, Canada had have gotten that red card against Paris Saint-Germain. Who knows how that game turns out? And if that game ended up with us losing 3-0, let's say, that could have been the thing that knocked us out of a tournament. So, yeah, I don't have the confidence to predict the Champions League win. Mark said, Craig, I'm gutted as I wanted to come see your show in May, but I'll be seeing my girlfriend in Ghana at the time. Man, you do you and enjoy. I'd pick a girlfriend over me as well, mate, so don't feel bad about it. If I had a choice between going to see somebody or going visiting the missus, I'd have always chosen the missus as well. So enjoy it, my man, and hope you have a good trip. If anybody else though does want to come along, as we've said before, tickets are now on sale. You can get them with the link at the top of the chat or in the description. And it's an all-ages event, May 28th, 3 days after the final game of the season. Right, let's check in on the poll where we asked, do you believe the links in Kingsley Coman? Pretty much 89% of people said nope. Don't believe them. Scotty, I'm trying to ignore that, mate, because I'm recording it. So I'm trying to pay no attention to it, if you get me. Some Arsenal fans reckon they would beat Real Madrid. Well, look, they're probably going to get a chance to find out. You know, I think either of the Madrid clubs beat Arsenal personally, but let's wait and see what happens. I mean, Arsenal are already in the quarterfinals. I think we'll all agree on that one. 7-1 away win. They're in the quarters. 2-1 in the Madrid derby, and they still have to go to the Wanda Metropolitano. So let's wait and see what happens. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be making Arsenal favourites against either of those Madrid clubs. But like I said the other day, if Arsenal win the Champions League, they will have won it the hard way. And they will deserve all the praise that goes their way, because they will have beaten PSV Eindhoven there, then one of the Madrid clubs, then either us, PSG, Villa or Bruges, and then they'll have to go and win the final against either Inter or Bayern or Barcelona. So yeah, let's wait and see if they do it, but I don't think they will. I mean, remember, these were the same Arsenal fans that were trying to say their victory against Sporting Lisbon was better than us beating Real Madrid. Remember that. So yeah, best of luck to them. JG94 said, Angelo Stiller from Stuttgart is a baller, be over the moon if we signed him. Yeah, he is. He's a really exciting talent. And where was this? One sec, mate. One sec. Did I put it in my other notes? Here we go. So, yes, there's been multiple bits of reporting from Germany to say Liverpool are aware of his release clause at €36.5 million. So he did sign a new contract at Stuttgart, but it seems that was just pretty much to to up the release clause. So let's wait and see. It feels like a Liverpool type signing, right kind of price point, right age bracket, in a league that we've had eyes on for a while as well in the Bundesliga. So wouldn't be the most surprising transfer in the world if it did happen. But I also think that Bayern Munich and other clubs will be looking at him. Michelle, thank you for your support. Appreciate you. Crypto 2021 said our recruitment are on a totally different trajectory. We're all watching Caicedo. With a blink of an eye, we signed McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. Have some respect. I think you're rewriting history there, my friend. There was no fucking we were all watching Caicedo and in a blink of an eye we did this, this and this. And if you think making 150 million quid offer for a player and not signing him after failing to bring in another player and then failing to bring in Zubamendi, and you think that that's great work that needs to be respected, then welcome in, John, is all I'm going to say, because I can only assume that you are fucking John, because nobody else would think that our recruitment has been brilliant in recent years, and you're rewriting history with how the McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch situation came about. But I guess you probably know that. Are all the 3 p.m. games shown live in Ireland? No, not all of them. We get one each week. I'm pretty sure it's on Premier Sport for me tomorrow, but if it's not, I'll use the Spanish DAZN account. But either way, I'll be good to go. And by the way, I don't think anybody's complaining about the quality of the business that we do, but we don't do it enough, and that's the problem. We've made a fool of ourselves for Lavia, Caicedo within the space of a week. We failed again previously when we were looking at Tchouaméni. We failed with Zubamendi. I don't think that's brilliant recruitment. And also, it was different people involved at the club. So your comment is all over the shop, in all honesty, mate. Arthur said, Craig, with us not being in the Club World Cup in the summer, that should massively help us. Well, it won't do us any harm. It'll be intriguing to see what happens to the teams that are in it, like Manchester City and Chelsea, and how much of an impact that will have on their season. Whether that impact maybe comes later on in the season when the fatigue really kicks in, or whether it disjoints the start of their season. But it just feels so weird, doesn't it? The idea of this tournament at the end of a really long season again. But, greed knows no bounds. I'm joking, but refreshing the midfield without paying ridiculous market prices, great recruitment. I agree, sir. I agree. Look, the names that you mentioned, wow. And one thing that was impressive was, nobody else really knew about that McAllister release clause. But we did, and we got him for, 40 million quid. Szoboszlai, that was a whirlwind, 24 or 48 hours, just to get that done before the clause. And look, if you look at the tally of those three players, wow, for the price of a Caicedo. So yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but those players were good, but we just have procrastinated a lot lately. Even with the contract situation now, it seems like we're procrastinating ourselves into a corner. Luke said, I think Slot goes strong tomorrow. He usually does. It is on Premier Sport tomorrow for me. Thank you for checking that one for me, Mark. So yeah, I'll be good to go for the game. Evan said, does anybody else feel the Isak rumours are a misdirect from Hughes? The guy is a ninja in the market. I struggle to believe we pay anywhere near the money. So in some ways, Evan, yes, I do. It will be most unlike us. And I've got to say this as well, I don't think he's worth £150 million. Newcastle are entitled to make up whatever number they want and try to get it, but I can't see us paying that. I just can't. Do you agree that Maka has been better than Caicedo, especially for the price? I'm not going to lie, I still think Caicedo's a wonderful footballer, and I still would have been buzzing if we'd have signed him. But I love the balance that we have with Gravenberch, Szoboszlai and Maka. And I absolutely love Alexis McAllister as a footballer. He's so versatile, so good, so combative, just a lot to like. And as you say, when you throw in the price tag on top of it, you've saved yourself, what, £75 million or something? So it's a lot of money. That's like a free Virgil van Dijk. Would you be happy if we got Gyökeres instead? Oh God, not this question again. Is that a real question, or are you trying to troll me? And I'm sorry if it's a real question, but we're not signing Gyökeres for a whole host of reasons. One, he hasn't proven himself in a high enough standard of league. Two, he's 27, I think, so too old. Yeah, it's not going to be Victor Gyökeres. There's never been any indication whatsoever that it's going to be him. I've only ever been told very firmly, no, not him. So it won't be Victor Gyökeres. Remember, he's played in the Championship and he's played in Portugal. Not really good enough sample size at the highest level. And we've just taken a punt on a striker that was doing well in Portugal over the last few years with Darwin, and that didn't work out. Unfortunately, there's not many good strikers on the market. Well, there's certainly better options. So you've got Cunha at 62. You've got Sesko at about 68, 70 million pound. You've got Isak, granted a very, very high price. So there are options there. It's just which one do we go after? Which one suits Arne Slot's style? And look, all I can say is whoever the manager wants, I just hope he gets them. Who would you rather sign, Huijsen or Colwill? Huijsen, 100% Carl. I've always liked Levi Colwill. Very good player. But Huijsen would be brilliant, and especially if we kept Virgil for a couple more years to allow Huijsen to develop a bit more. Imagine we were talking about 2 years down the line where Huijsen was then 21, Kanade was 26 or something at that point. You still have Kwanzaa, and then maybe another young centre-back coming through, or a more experienced centre-back. But either way, that'd be a great collection of centre-backs. What would your reaction be if we never sold Darwin Núñez this summer? I'd be demanding drug testing. It would be my answer. I would be kicking down the doors of the AXA and going, right, where are they? Get me the recruitment team. Get in here and piss into this bottle, because somebody in here is on drugs. That would be my answer. Yeah. I'd probably cry as well, to be honest with you, because yeah, I know. Nope. No, couldn't do it. We should have signed Euro. That deal is always going to annoy me, because we were told categorically by every journo that if Real Madrid backed away, Liverpool were there to pounce on Lenny Euro. And again, they were all shown up to be full of shit, because Madrid backed away, and we then started making excuses as to why it wasn't a good value deal, and United came in and signed them. But I won't forget that. That was another situation where I got really annoyed by the journalists buying into the nonsense that they were getting told by the club. And here's the thing about it. They were all getting told this, and none of them feel salty about it, that they were blatantly lied to and manipulated. And they still think that everything that gets told by the clubs, or the majority of it, is in good faith. It's mad. For 150 million, we could get Mbuema and Cunha or Pedro. I don't want Joe Pedro. I don't think he's good enough, and I'd have concerns about his injuries. But you're right. You could get Mbuema and Cunha, and I would say thank you very much, Tony, for those two. I'm a big fan of Brian Mbuema. I really do. He's not the sexiest name maybe out there, but he's a very, very good player. He's more like, you heard me banging on about Jared Bowen for 2-3 years a while back. Well, he'd be my modern day Jared Bowen, or younger. 24, I'd be all over that if we had to replace Salah. John said, Craig, this might sound mental, but I would rather keep Salah and Trent than keep Salah and Virgil. I feel like Virgil is more replaceable. What's your thoughts? I disagree incredibly strongly. Of the three players you've listed, Virgil's the most important one we keep for me. Because, again, I'm not saying my thinking isn't flawed, but I have too many memories of Liverpool not winning league titles because we couldn't defend properly and because we were conceding. We've always been blessed with great goal scorers at the club throughout at least my time watching. But it was only when Alisson and Virgil came in that we really looked like we were going to do that and win that league title. And I'm not yet ready to go back to not having Virgil around. So for me, the priority would be Virgil, Salah, Trent in that order. I think Virgil's the most important to me anyway. The Trent thing, look, you've got the age part of it. And in fact, he's 26, so you know he's in his prime. I hate that we're even in the position when we're having this conversation as Liverpool fans. You know that we shouldn't be having this conversation. Trent should be tied up and should have been done 2 years ago, 18 months ago. Devon said there's no such thing as journalists when it comes to football transfer news. They're just creative writers or speculation mongers. I'm going to add another facet in there, and I'm robbing Mo Chatra's line here, or extensions of the club's PR team, Devon. That's another thing I'd throw in there for you as well. Because that's what I feel around the ones that cover Liverpool locally, is that they're basically just now an extension of the club's PR department because they don't seem to have an original thought or critical question between them. And by the way, people keep asking me if I'm arsed about them calling me back out or whatever. The journalists can say whatever they want about me because I don't need them to reinforce my beliefs about them. I'm absolutely confident that I've watched these guys for years and know that they just do the club's bidding, you know? So I don't really give a damn what they think of us because they don't have my respect. Because I think they're being disingenuous to all of us. Aaron said, my dream signing is Karim Adeyemi. Blinding speed, loves cutting in the left foot, very young and room for development. But he's available. He could have left Dortmund in the winter window. I think he was close to going to AC Milan, if my memory is right. I certainly believe it was Serie A, but he's another name that's been kind of floating around Liverpool's radar with regards to links anyway. So, you know, whether we still have interest or not, I truly don't know. But I could see why you're mentioning him. He certainly scored some flashy goals this season. And thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you, mate. Kathy, I'm very much with you on this one, my friend. Kathy said, I just love my club and now we're riding the crest of a wave. I wanted to continue next season. Yes, Kathy. Absolutely with you on that one. Would you be happy if we signed Davis from Ipswich, the left back, if you know who he is? I don't know enough about him to know if he's good enough. Kirkes, De Kuiper, or Hatto are the three left backs that I would be expecting one of to come through the door. De Kuiper probably not. That's more a me thing rather than a credible link thing. But the other two, I would be very surprised if it wasn't one of them. Especially because United, who were the other strong name linked with Kirkes, have already brought in a left back now, Patrick Dorgu, and they don't have the money to go back in for Kirkes. So if he's going to move and he wants to stay in the Prem, we seem the most natural fit. But again, I've got to say, it's also difficult to look at a situation where, you know, it's easy for me to say, oh, go sign Huijsen, go sign Kirkes, or go sign Semenyo. But Bournemouth aren't going to just roll over and have their assets stripped away from them. I mean, they're pushing for European football themselves next season. Was the Kuiper the player who scored against Villa? Yes, he's the Club Brugge left back. I think he's a bit older. I think he's 25, but he's somebody that's caught my eye whenever I've watched them, and I think we'll have a bigger move soon. He looks really good to me anyway. Craig, my man, do you think Man U have a chance to beat Arsenal at Old Trafford this Sunday? It depends on how seriously Ruben Amorim takes it, because the priority for them, and rightly so, is Real Sociedad on the Thursday, because that's their only route really into European football. If they win the Europa League, they'll be in the Champions League next year. They're not getting in through the league. They're not getting relegated. So I really don't expect United to be that arsed about Sunday. But yeah, just wait and see. I mean, I'd certainly predict an Arsenal win. I did predict an Arsenal win in my Premier League predictions earlier. I went 2-1. L Scouts are 8 said, have we talked about Stiller yet? A little bit, but happy to go back over it if you want, mate, because I've only seen maybe 7 or 8 games of Angelo Stiller. And even at that, full games I've probably seen 3. So I think, looking at the price, as you mentioned, about £30 million if you convert from euro down, it's not an expensive outlay, is it? Now, as you mentioned as well, mate, Bayern Munich are there or thereabouts, looking at him as well. But it certainly ticks a lot of the boxes you'd think appeal to Michael Edwards, right? Age profile, yes. Price, yes. League he's coming from, yes. So it's a very easy one to nod your head and go, yeah, I think I could see that one. And Kathy said, I don't want our next Premier League or Champions League to be in 5 years' time. I want the 80s back. Yes, Kathy. Yes, please. I'm with you. For me, Kathy, when we win the league title this year, you'll have the City fans, the Arsenal fans, and maybe some more fans saying we only did it because X, Y, or Z. But if we were to win it this year and defend it next year, there's no belittling that. There's no, it was a fluke. There's no, it was because of the PGMOL or because City or Arsenal fell away. All Arsenal fans really have to say at the minute is the injuries. But I've loved seeing, people have been sending me screenshots of Liverpool fans pushing back against this Arsenal narrative to say, well, yes, you've had injuries, but you got injuries because your manager's been an idiot and your manager's ran players into the ground. And if anything, look at our club. We're trying to learn from last season where we had injuries because of overplaying and fatigue. And Arne has come in with Ruben Peters and the team and adjusted that. And without any more signings coming in, we've had far more availability. So as a fan, you think, shit, yeah, the players are injured. But like Arne said today, some of that is predictable and avoidable. But you don't see that. I mean, how many conversations have football fans had about Saka getting ran into the ground and playing too much? So all Arsenal fans need to know is that they failed again and go from there. Would I take Leo? No. He's way too inconsistent. He's way too moody. And I'd want him to be tearing up Serie A, even look at him. But no. I think he's a flash in the pan, and he's I could not see him doing the defensive work that Arne Slot would ask of him. Cian McInerney, thank you, my friend, for joining Anfield Agenda FC. Really, really appreciate that. Love you so much, Craig. Have a lovely weekend. You're very kind, Cian. Thank you, my man. Appreciate you. And I hope you have a lovely weekend as well. So, ladies and gents, loads of time. I'm going to stay on for a while. Don't worry. We're it's a quiet night, but I love these ones because we get to have a proper chat. So, a couple of bits and pieces that I want to just fly through really quickly. Again, if you want to come and see us in Liverpool, we are doing our end of season show at the fantastic Hot Water Comedy Club on May 28th, which is 3 days after the final game of the season and 4 days before the Champions League final. You can get your tickets priced at just £20 plus the booking fee, with a link at the top of the chat and in the description. We're going to put on a great show for you on the night, and hopefully we'll all have we will have a good night, and you'll enjoy the venue as well. If you've never been before, even if it's not gone to one of our shows, get down to Blackstock Market, check out the Hot Water Comedy Club. It's incredible. They've got I think 8 different eateries there, 4 or 5 different bars, a whiskey bar, a rooftop terrace. They've got 5 different sized theatres, I think, in the venue. It's just an incredible place, and it's our home whenever we come to Liverpool for a show, so cannot wait. And also, again, just the other little quick thing, AnfieldAgendaShop.com if you want to get yourself an Anfield Agenda hoodie, mug, or a No Newland, No Party t-shirt. Your brother got kicked out of your house, going through a tough time. I feel that one, Keane. But, you know, family squabbles are difficult, man. I hope everything's okay with the family. Grim Reaper, Craig, Man United's priority is trying to beat Real Sociedad and not letting us win our 20th. They will not try on Sunday. It's what I said, man. I said it a while ago, and I've no problem with that. Their priority should be the Sociedad game. If I was a Liverpool fan and it was our season was that way, if I was a Liverpool fan, if I was a United fan and the season was that way, I wouldn't be arsed about Sunday. I'd be wanting to play Sociedad and put the best team out for that one. John said, Craig, do you think we signed Mamadashvili to then maybe sell Ali for a high fee to replace the likes of Salah, Trent or Van Dijk? The only way I can see we buy another world-class keeper. My problem with all of that, John, comes into the fact that Kelleher will also be going, and Yaros looks like he's off as well. His contract's up at the end of the season. So if that happens and the plan is to sell Alisson, then you're still going to have to go get another keeper on top of it. And then you've gone from a situation where you know exactly what you have in the goalkeeping department to very, very good keepers to not knowing. And that would be a concern for me. But I'm also concerned about too much transition over one summer, if that makes sense. What was wrong with your message? I've no idea, Rob. I didn't remove any of your messages, mate. So, no idea. I'm scrolling back up as well to see, and can't see that I've deleted any one of your messages. Maybe the mods did, maybe it was spam or something. I've no idea. But the only one I deleted today was that guy John from the start of the stream. Was Georgie a slot signing? No. He was probably done by Michael Edwards, would be my guessing. Love how slot spotted journalists trying to stir drama with Salah being unhappy about being subbed off. I mean, if anything, I wanted Salah off earlier in that game. You could see it just wasn't going to be his day, and that's okay. You know, he's more than earned the right to have an off day. So, yeah, I think Arnold was proved right with the situation. Maybe Salah would have scored in the same position, I don't know, but who cares? You know, he gave Mo a bit of a breather and we went on to win the game, so job done. Would I take Xerxes, what, like to the zoo or as a footballer at Liverpool? Oh, Jesus, no. Is Slot suspended for tomorrow? Yes. Tomorrow's the second of his 2-game touchline ban. But remember, he can still go into the dressing room at half time. He just can't be on the touchline. I think it's 2 hours before the game, and so he can't be on the touchline. Who do you think will replace Trent? No idea, because I don't know if he's going yet. Look, I'm preparing myself for Trent leaving, but I don't know for certain what's happening. And Bradley would be my initial answer, but we would still need another right back. Thoughts on Guevara Reid from Feyenoord, who said he'd join Liverpool over City and United? Well, immediately I love him. I don't know anything about him, but that sentence makes me love him straight away. I think actually I read this out a while back. He was asked who would he prefer over United or Arsenal or something, and he said Liverpool, only Liverpool. I think that was the same guy. So yeah, legend already, definitely. What's your shop's website? This one. I'm going to bring it up on screen for you to make it easier, right? AnfieldAgendaShop.com. AnfieldAgendaShop.com. And it's also listed in the description of all the streams, if that makes it easier, my man. But yeah, AnfieldAgendaShop.com. Mukarab said we have banned words. Loads of them, mate. Loads of them. If we didn't have banned words, yeah, I mean, God, you'd see me angry a lot of the time. So yeah, there's a big list of banned words, which is like an easier tool to help moderate over having to rely on the mods to jump on every single comment. So I imagine, I think Goldbridge, I think that's banned. Bald, I think that's banned. I mean, there's loads. Like, I think there's 50 words anyway. You may have already answered this in other streams, but what are your thoughts on the documentary? I haven't watched it, so I'm going on holiday on the 19th, and I'm going to watch all of the Klopp documentary back to back when I'm on holiday. I'm going to download it and bring it with me and watch it when I'm away in Spain. So yeah, I've purposely not watched it yet because I need something to keep me occupied on holidays. What player we brought in disappointed you the most? I'll give you two names if I can. You said yours was Joe Cole. For me, Harry Kewell was the name initially, and also Naby Keita. Them two disappointed me massively. I was so excited about both of them. I remember when we signed Harry Kewell thinking, well, that's it. We've boxed off the left side now. That just didn't work out. And then Naby Keita, obviously, we've seen what he was doing with Leipzig and how brilliant he was, and it just didn't work out. But Joe Cole's an interesting shout as well. I've grown to dislike him a lot over the years, though, Joe Cole. Like, I don't like him at all. PSG are clear of us technically, I can't lie. Mate, they played better than us in one game. You know, relax. They play better than us in one game. I wouldn't be saying that we're better than them, they're better than us. Ultimately, all that matters is if we go through or not. And then, you know, people can argue about it all they want. But I don't know what else to say. There's this trend of everybody hyping up our opponents and underappreciating how good we are. It happens all the time in the chat, and I don't get it. You know, PSG are good. They showed that they were good. But every time we play somebody, everybody asks, are we worried about this guy doing that to us? Or are we worried about this and that? I'm never worried going into a game. I'm cautious. I'm respectful. But I'm never worried. Because ultimately, look at our team. It's a pretty good team with a great manager that's top of what is, in my opinion, the best league in the world. So, never scared of anyone when these boys go out. Never. Joshua said, for me, it has to be El Hadj Diouf. Yeah, it's a good shout, that, Joshua. Do you know what other transfer annoyed me because we didn't do it? What was the dude's name? Anelka. When we had him on loan and we didn't make that a permanent transfer, that really, really did my head in. I couldn't believe we didn't make that deal permanent at the time. I'm sure there were reasons for it, but I would have been... I was fully sure we were going to make that deal permanent. And I still regret it didn't happen. We beat the champions of England twice, Germany, La Liga, and now League One. And, Irfan, without conceding a goal in any of them. So we beat City 2-0 twice, beat Leverkusen 4-0, beat Madrid 2-0, beat PSG 1-0. So yeah, like you've said, we're all right, us. Guillermo said, and Anelka wanted to stay so badly. I heard so many conflicting stories about that time as well, about why it didn't happen or why it wasn't made permanent. And truth is, I don't know what the truth is. But the truth is, I don't know what the truth is. Now, there's a sentence for you. But I know I would have loved it to have happened. La Liga is clear, some brilliant football. It's not clear. And let me tell you why it's not clear. There's no strength in depth. La Liga is a bullshit two-team league, set up to be a two-team league. End of. Occasionally you get a Valencia. Occasionally you get an Atletico Madrid. But there is no way that I'm going to sit here and ever give in that the Premier League is not the best league in the world. It absolutely is. It's the most watched league in the world. It's the best league in the world. And the strength and depth in the league is far greater. So for me, I like La Liga. I very much watch La Liga. But Premier League's where it's at. For me. But again, each to their own. You don't see too many players that don't cut it in La Liga, do you? But you see a lot of players that have cut it in La Liga or Serie A and that can't hack the Premier League because of the physicality and the way the league is. JACK said, in my opinion, Serie A and the Premier League are the best. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch Italian football these days. I mean, when I was growing up, Serie A was where it was at. There was all the money was in Italy, all the good players were in Italy, and certainly when I was growing up, I mean, Football Italia every Saturday morning was peak viewing. But these days, every time I watch it, I find it monotonous and just not my cup of tea. Just my opinion. Hey, that's all good, Adam. You're entitled to your opinion. I was just giving you my rebuttal to your opinion. I enjoy La Liga, don't get me wrong. After the Premier League, it's certainly the league I'd look at the most. It just annoys me the way that league is. I hate leagues that are set up like that for two clubs to have a clear financial advantage. Even the TV rights deal, the way it's set up in Spain, it must be very frustrating for fans of other Spanish clubs to have the Barcelona and the Real Madrid situation. Atleti are the best of the rest, and like I said previously, you had Valencia with the days of Pablo Aimar and Roberto Ayala, and obviously Rafael Benitez as their coach. But I don't know, it's same in Germany. You know, you've got Bayern. Every so often you'll get one team that comes and does a Leverkusen or a Dortmund. But meh. I mean, I guess people could say, hey, hang on, Craig, Manchester City and the Premier League, but we all know why we think Manchester City have had this era of dominance, because we think it's all been tainted. We've played plenty of teams who we are better than and lost. There's nothing wrong with PSG being better than us in the game. The thing is, matters is the result. Yes, sir. Absolutely. We won. And I'll take admitting we were battered for 87 minutes, but won the game. Because, as you've said, we've been on the other side of that so many times where a keeper's had a worldie against us and we concede from a set piece or something. So, yeah, it's as Arna said as well, sometimes to win these things, you got to have a day like that where you're not at your best and you get a result. Harry Paul said, Anthony is incredible in that league. That says it all. Genuinely, though, some leagues are just suited to players, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, obviously, whatever it is about La Liga and Anthony's style suits the way that he plays. Then you've got some great players who can just go and do it in any league. Who do you reckon will replace Pep and have a new Klopp versus Pep era with Slot? I don't want there to be another Klopp versus Pep era, because I want Manchester City fined and points reducted into oblivion. I don't want them to be anywhere near being where they are, because how they got to where they are is, in my opinion, one of the biggest, potentially most disgusting stories in sport. So I want the book thrown at them, and I don't want them to be a force for however many years. I think we've all gotten a little bit too accustomed to City as they are now, but let's not forget how they got to where they are now and what the accusations are. So I'd rather we have an era where it's us and Arsenal, to be honest with you, than us and City, because at least I can have respect for them as a club. Am I doing any content with Lee Gunner? He's coming up when we're in Spain. He's coming up to spend a couple of days with us, so we'll might do something when we're together then or not. I'm not sure. No plans. No confirmed plans anyway. But I'm sure we'll do something. I'm sure we'll post somewhere when we meet up. Be nice to finally meet him. Am I going to watch the UFC fights tomorrow? Yes, probably will. I actually bought my tickets today for Cage Warriors. It's in Dublin in April at the RDS. Myself and Sabrina got some tickets to go and watch it. We went to a Cage Warriors event a few years back as well, and seen that they were back in Dublin. So we're playing on the Sunday that week, and Cage Warriors is on the Saturday. So yeah, we'll be at Cage Warriors and that one. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to Spain soon. When are you going? March 19th. March 19th. I always try to book some holidays during the international break. What about the Case Chiesa? Case Chiesa? I don't know what you mean by that, mate. Sorry, I don't know what you mean by that on the Case Chiesa. If you're asking me what I think about the Chiesa situation, I find it all very strange that he hasn't gotten many opportunities. What do we reckon actually on Paqueta? Have you seen that the Premier League are looking for, or the FA are looking for, a lifetime ban for Lucas Paqueta over the betting charges that are against them for the yellow card? They must be sitting on some really, really, really strong what's the word I'm looking for? Evidence. Because that's a big ask. A lifetime ban is what they're looking for. Felt like I actually assumed he'd gotten away with that or something at one point, because it went so quiet for so long. But apparently there's a 3-week case going to start over it, and we'll see what the outcome is. My biggest disappointment flop for Liverpool is probably Mohamed Salah. Yeah, it's terrible. Yes, awful. One season wonder. Tony got banned for it, so Paqueta should as well. It's different though, Irfan. Ivan Toney was done for betting on football. I think manipulating the market, if I'm not mistaken, is what Lucas Paqueta's charge is. Getting a yellow on purpose is very, very different. They look at that way, way more harshly than betting on football. If you're manipulating a market, I guess that's fraud, if proven. So, yeah, big charge. But again, Tony's was betting on football, not impacting the outcome of a football betting market. Sorry, but I don't think he did, in my opinion. I don't know what that's about, Kathy. Sorry, not sure what that's about. Charlie said, Craig, if we weren't going to go for Isak, which other striker would you target? Because personally, I'd take Cunha. Cunha, Sesko are two names off the top of my head. A lifetime ban for betting, but the FA refs clearly being biased under the rug. Well, again, I'm more interested to see what happens with the Man City case than anything, and I think we're gonna get that this month. My feeling will be we're gonna get the answer to that, at least the answer to the hearing this month, and if there's an appeal again after that, let's wait and see. Oh, you said Slot didn't want Chiesa. That's what I think as well, Kathy. I can't find any other logical reasons to why he isn't playing him. If he wanted him and signed him, well, he's fit now, so you'd imagine he'd be giving him minutes. The fact the Brazilian government are investigating it also. It's look, it's way above my pay grade, and I certainly don't know all the ins and outs of the Paqueta case, so I don't really feel too comfortable giving an opinion on it. But just when I seen the other day that they're looking for a lifetime ban, I thought, wow, that's heavy going. Thriller X said, I'm kind of scared of the summer transfers we're going to get, or even get. I'm worried about them. I'm more worried about the contract extensions than the summer transfers at the minute anyway. Yeah, look, as I said, I've said this for weeks and months, but it's definitely taken away some of my enjoyment of this season, because I feel I don't want it to be a one-off. I don't want Liverpool to win something again and then not have a proper go at it next season. So I wish the contracts were sorted tomorrow so I could enjoy the last 2 months of the season properly. How would you describe Liverpool in the Premier League era, including ownership, Champions League growth, notable players? I mean, that's a bit of a heavy question for me to answer off the top of my head. How would I describe them? Since 92, frustrating, unlucky, to put up the points tallies we did, the 97 and to not win a league. That's disgusting. I think we were lagging behind as well with regards to the corporate side of things until FSG came in, and for all the criticisms I have of them, they certainly put us in the right footing in that regard. European stuff, I think we've been really good, to be fair. Even during the Benitez era before Klopp, we were always doing well in the Champions League. So I think when we were in that competition, pretty good. And what was the other few bits and pieces? Notable players and teams. Well, we've had more than our fair share of great players. Look through the Premier League era and look who's played for Liverpool. Luis Suarez, Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, Steven Gerrard, Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, Alisson Becker, Luis Garcia, Javier Mascherano, Javi Alonso, Momo Sissoko, God, Jesus, you could keep going. Luis Diaz, Trent Alexander-Arnold. We've just had brilliant players. But it was only when we brought in Alisson and Virgil that I felt like we were going to go and win the league. Sadio Mane, yes. I mean, I could continue to go on and on and on. Fernando Torres. Look, we've been spoiled for some great players, but inconsistency of league performance has been what's hurt us. What was this one? Do you see a future for Ben Doak and Jayden Danns? Jayden Danns, yes. Ben Doak, from the information that I've had over the last few months, no. And it's not because I don't want Ben Doak to be here, but I've always been told that the plan was to get his price up and sell him. But let's wait and see. Right, ladies and gents, I'm going to say goodnight to you, and I'm going to go and grab some food and get ready for tomorrow's game. I'll see you at 1:45 for the watch along tomorrow. We'll have our match reaction, player ratings video, and probably a stream tomorrow night as well. Enjoy your Friday night. Thank you for joining me, and we'll talk soon. Much love. Bye-bye. Oh, I need to bring this one up from Adrian before I finish up, because I don't want to be rude. How awesome would it be if Arsenal blew their 7-1 lead? I mean, they won't, man, but it would be comical is probably the word I'd use, Adrian. And sorry, mate, that I only brought that up now. Thank you for your membership for 9 months. Right, folks, drop a like for me before you head off, and I will see you in the morning. Have a good one. Bye.